The rain came down in sheets that evening, turning the city streets into glittering rivers of reflection. Maya hurried down the pavement, clutching her worn leather bag close to her chest, cursing herself for forgetting her umbrella. Again. She had just finished another long shift at the cafe, the kind that left her feet aching and her hair smelling faintly of coffee beans and steam. Her mind was already on the leftover noodles she'd heat up when she got home to her tiny apartment, maybe with a splash of soy sauce to make them taste new again. Life hadn't been easy for Maya since she moved to the city 2 years ago. She'd left behind a small town, a trail of broken dreams, and a fiancé who decided he preferred someone else just months before their wedding. The city was supposed to be a fresh start, but so far it had been nothing but rent struggles, endless work, and a feeling of being invisible in a world that never slowed down. She ducked under the awning of a bookstore to escape the rain for a moment, shaking the water from her coat. The shop was closed, its window fogged with condensation, and behind the glass, stacks of old novels sat waiting to be opened by someone who still believed in happy endings. Maya sighed, pressing her forehead lightly against the cool glass. That's when she heard the voice. "Please, please, I'm begging you. Just listen to me for a second." It was a man's voice, frantic, desperate, and echoing through the storm. Maya turned her head toward the sound and saw him across the street, standing near a sleek black car with the door wide open. He was talking to a woman in a red coat who looked startled, then shook her head and rushed away into the night. The man ran a hand through his wet hair, his posture collapsing in defeat. Something about the scene tugged at Maya. She couldn't explain why, but there was something raw and real in the man's expression, a kind of desperation that didn't come from petty things. He stood there in the downpour for a few seconds, as if unsure what to do next, before his gaze swept across the street and landed right on her. Their eyes met. Maya froze. He looked to be in his early 30s, tall and broad-shouldered, wearing a dark coat that was already soaked through. His hair clung to his forehead, his eyes a piercing shade of gray that seemed to hold both storm and sorrow. He crossed the street toward her, his shoes splashing through puddles. Maya took a step back instinctively. I'm sorry," he said, breathless, stopping just in front of her. "I know how this must look, but I need your help, please." Maya blinked. "My help, do I? Know you?" He shook his head quickly. "No, we've never met. My name's Daniel. Daniel Hayes. Please, just give me 2 minutes. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't," his voice cracked, "if it wasn't for my daughter." That last word made Maya's heart stutter. "Your daughter," she repeated cautiously. He nodded, his expression pleading. "She's turning 6 tomorrow. It's her birthday, and she's been so excited for weeks. She keeps saying, 'Daddy, I can't wait to have my family together again.'" His throat tightened. "Her mother passed away 2 years ago. Since then, I've done everything I can to make her feel loved. But this year, she told everyone at school her mommy was coming home for her birthday. She believes it." Maya's brow furrowed. "That's heartbreaking," she murmured. Daniel took a deep breath. "She's been through so much. I can't crush that hope. I was trying to find someone, a friend, a distant relative, anyone to pretend to be her mom for one day, but no one would do it. They said it's too strange, too emotional." His eyes searched hers desperately. "I know how insane this sounds, asking a stranger, but you remind me of her mother, just for 1 week, just through her birthday, please." Maya's jaw fell open slightly. "You want me to pretend to be your wife?" "Yes," he said softly, "just for 1 week." She stared at him as if trying to see whether he was joking. "You can't be serious." "I am." His voice was low, steady, yet trembling at the edges. "You don't have to do anything more than spend a little time with her. Come to the small birthday party, read her bedtime stories, maybe go to the park. I'll pay you whatever you want, but please, don't say no right away. She's just a little girl, and I can't bear to see that look in her eyes when she realizes her mom isn't coming." The words hung in the cold air between them. The rain softened to a drizzle, the distant hum of cars filling the silence. Maya wanted to walk away. Every part of her logical mind screamed that this was insane, dangerous even. She didn't know this man. He could be lying, he could be unstable, but there was something in his eyes, something raw and honest that she couldn't ignore. "What's her name?" Meyer asked quietly. Daniel's lips parted in surprise. "Lily." Maya nodded slowly, her heart twisting. "She sounds sweet. She is," he said, his voice breaking with relief. "She's my whole world." Maya hesitated again, glancing at the rain-slicked streets, the buses rushing by, the glow of neon lights reflected in puddles. "I don't know if I can do this," she said finally. "I mean, pretending to be someone's wife to a little girl. I understand," Daniel said quickly. "I'd never ask something so impossible if I had another choice. You can say no, and I'll leave you alone right now. But if you could just come tomorrow, just meet her once, you'll see why I'm asking." Maya's thoughts spun. She could feel the ache in his voice, the exhaustion of a father doing his best and falling short in ways that hurt too deeply to show. "Why me?" she asked softly. Daniel exhaled, looking down for a moment. "Because when I saw you standing there, I just felt something. You have that same warmth in your eyes, the same calmness she used to have. I can't explain it. Maybe I'm desperate, maybe I'm crazy. But you feel like someone my daughter could believe in." Maya swallowed hard. She wanted to refuse. She wanted to tell him she wasn't that person. She was barely keeping her own life together. But then she remembered her own childhood, her mother's laugh, her father's absence. The nights she'd wished someone would pretend to care, even for a moment. "Just 1 week?" she asked. Daniel nodded, his eyes lighting with fragile hope. "1 week, that's all." Maya looked at him for a long moment, then finally sighed. "All right, I'll meet her tomorrow, but that's it. No promises." His face softened with gratitude so deep it nearly broke her. "Thank you," he whispered. "You don't know what this means to me." "Don't thank me yet," she muttered, pulling her hood up again. "You might regret it." He gave a small, tired smile. "I don't think I will." As they exchanged numbers and planned to meet at a cafe near the park the next morning, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just stepped into something far more complicated than she understood. That night, lying awake in her small apartment, she couldn't stop thinking about the look in Daniel's eyes, or the little girl waiting for a mother who would never come home. She didn't know it yet, but that one impulsive yes would change everything. Because sometimes life doesn't ask if you're ready. It just hands you someone else's broken pieces and waits to see what you'll do with them. The morning came too soon. Maya barely slept. Her mind had replayed the previous night over, and over Daniel's desperate plea, the story of his daughter, and her own bewildering decision to agree. By the time sunlight filtered through the curtains, her nerves were taut. She stood in front of the mirror, brushing her hair for the third time. "You're insane," she thought. "This isn't your problem. You could just not show up." But something deeper wouldn't let her walk away. Maybe it was the way Daniel said his daughter's name, or the ache in his eyes. Maybe she just couldn't bear the thought of a little girl waiting for someone who would never come. Maya pulled on a soft cream sweater, simple jeans, and a pair of small gold earrings, something warm, not showy. She didn't want to look like she was acting. She wanted to look like someone real. When she arrived at the cafe near the park, Daniel was already there, standing by the window with 2 coffees and a small bouquet of daisies. He looked different in the daylight, clean, shaven, calm, though there was still that quiet tension beneath his polite smile. "Maya," he said softly as she approached, "I wasn't sure you'd come." "Neither was I," she admitted, taking the coffee he offered. He gave a short, grateful laugh. "Thank you, really. Lily's at home decorating. She's been talking about her mom nonstop this morning. I told her a surprise guest was coming, but not who." Maya took a steadying breath. "I don't want to lie to her." Daniel's smile faltered. "I understand. I just need her to have this 1 week. She's been having nightmares. She barely eats, and every night she asks when her mom will come home. She's only 6. I don't want to shatter that light in her." There was a long silence between them, the weight of his words pressed against her chest. She finally nodded, "All right, let's go meet Lily." They drove to a quiet neighborhood lined with tall maple trees, their leaves littering the sidewalks in fiery reds and golds. Daniel's house was small but beautiful, white shutters, a porch swing, a few pink paper lanterns hanging in preparation for the birthday celebration. As soon as they stepped inside, Maya heard laughter. It came from a little girl sitting on the living room floor surrounded by balloons. She had soft brown curls and eyes the color of honey, full of mischief and light. "Daddy," she squealed, running to Daniel's legs. Then she saw Maya. Her laughter stilled, her eyes widening in disbelief. "Mommy." Maya froze. Daniel knelt down beside Lily, his hand gently resting on her shoulder. "Sweetheart," he said softly, "this is Maya. She's a friend." Lily's lips trembled. "But she looks like Mommy." Maya's heart cracked. She knelt down to the little girl's level and smiled gently. "Hi, Lily, I heard today's a big day. Someone's turning 6, right?" Lily's eyes brightened immediately. "Yes, I'm 6 now. Daddy said we can have cake and a treasure hunt." "Wow," Maya said, feigning awe. "That sounds like the best birthday ever." Lily giggled, her earlier confusion melting away as she grabbed Maya's hand. "Come see my decorations. I made them myself." Maya shot a quick look at Daniel, who exhaled in relief and nodded. And just like that, she was pulled into a living room of chaos and innocence. Streamers, confetti, and hand-drawn pictures taped to the wall. Lily proudly showed off every detail. "This one's Mommy and Daddy at the park," Lily said, pointing to a drawing of 3 stick figures, "and that's me with the biggest ice cream." Maya smiled, her chest tightening. "You're quite the artist, Lily." Daniel stood quietly behind them, watching. For a moment he saw something he hadn't in a long time. His daughter laughing without sadness, and something stirred in him, something that scared him. The rest of the day passed in a blur of laughter, cake crumbs, and games. Maya found herself laughing more than she had in months. Lily was a bundle of energy, her laughter infectious, her kindness pure. When she hugged Maya good night, her little arms around Maya's neck felt like sunlight in human form. "You'll be here tomorrow, right?" Lily whispered sleepily. Maya hesitated, glancing at Daniel. His eyes pleaded silently. "Of course," she said softly, "I'll be here." When Daniel walked her to the door later, the air between them felt heavier. "I can't thank you enough," he said quietly. "You've already done more than I hoped." Maya smiled faintly. "She's a wonderful kid. You're a good father." He looked down, his voice rough. "I try. But it's hard to be both parents at once." "I know," Maya whispered, surprising herself with how much she meant it. That week unfolded like something out of another life. Maya came by each morning to help with breakfast, walk Lily to school, and spend the evenings reading stories or baking cookies. The house felt warmer with her laughter inside it, the kind of warmth that seeps into the bones of people who have been cold for too long. Daniel watched the transformation quietly. Lily began sleeping through the night again. She stopped asking when her real mother would come home. She smiled more, hummed while brushing her hair, and even started calling Maya Mimi instead of Mommy. It was their unspoken compromise, a name born from love and make-believe. One evening, after Lily had fallen asleep, Daniel and Maya sat in the kitchen, a single candle flickering between them. The air smelled faintly of cinnamon and sugar. "You've changed everything," Daniel said softly. "For both of us." Maya smiled tiredly. "She's easy to love." He looked at her for a long moment. "You are too." Her heart stumbled. She looked away quickly, pretending to focus on her mug. "Daniel, this was supposed to be temporary." "I know," he said, voice low. "But sometimes temporary things feel more real than the things we plan for." Silence lingered. Thick, unspoken, dangerous. The next morning, reality began to creep back in. Maya woke up feeling strange, like something precious was slipping through her fingers. It was the last day of the week, the promise she'd made. She told herself she would go, say goodbye to Lily, and walk away. But when Lily came running into her arms holding a drawing of all three of them, Maya, Daniel, and herself under a rainbow, Maya couldn't speak. "Are we a family now?" Lily asked with innocent joy. Daniel froze. Maya felt her throat close. "Lily," she whispered. Daniel knelt beside them, his hand gently brushing his daughter's hair. "Sweetheart, families come in many ways. Sometimes people we love can't stay forever, but they always stay here." He tapped her little heart. Lily looked confused, then sad, but she nodded bravely. "So you'll still love each other?" Daniel's voice broke. "Yes, always." That night when Maya left, the house felt impossibly quiet. Daniel walked her to the car again, just like the first night, but this time they didn't speak. The air between them was thick with everything they weren't saying. When she finally opened the door, Daniel caught her hand. "Maya," he said softly, "I don't know how to say goodbye to you." She blinked back tears. "You don't have to. You already did, the moment you asked me to help her." He nodded, his jaw clenched. "She'll miss you." "I'll miss her too," Maya whispered, "more than I should." And then she left. Days passed. The city felt emptier. The cafe was just a blur of coffee cups and voices. Every time the door opened, she half expected to see Lily's smile or Daniel's tired, grateful eyes. But they never came. Then one evening, a small envelope appeared on her counter. There was no return address, just her name written in a child's uneven handwriting. Inside was a crayon drawing, three stick figures under a rainbow, the same one Lily had shown her, but now with four words scrawled above them. "Come home soon, Mimi." Maya pressed the paper to her chest, tears streaming down her cheeks. She didn't know what the future held, or whether she could ever truly be what that little girl needed. But in that moment, she knew one thing with absolute certainty. Some love doesn't need blood or promises. It just finds you when you least expect it. And somewhere across the city, Daniel looked out his window as Lily fell asleep, her drawing pinned beside her bed. He whispered into the quiet, "Happy birthday, sweetheart." Then, softly, almost to himself, "Maybe one day she'll come home."